Hey everyone, I am Professor Lucien or Dr. Lucien, and I'm going to be your instructor for this condensed version of Safety 388 Occupational Safety and Health Standards and Applications. And this is for summer 2024. I put together this video because each week I'm actually going to create a sort of an overview video, and I may also combine it with a review video just to help everybody out, make sure everybody's on track with expectations. And so this first one is more of a broader overview. As we go through, I'll have pictures. And in my previous version, it was of my favorite horror movies. But I decided to go a different route. I'm going to put my favorite activities and hobbies. And so gardening is one of them. You've already read what's going on here, so I'm going to go over this with you. So who am I? Well, I'll kind of go over everything. So you see I've got all these letters behind my name. I have all the accoutrement of someone who is a safety professional. I have my professional engineering license out of Minnesota in chemical engineering, which is why I went to the University of Minnesota for my undergrad. I also have my certified safety professional through the Board of Certified Safety Professionals and my certified industrial hygienist through a long, global something accrediting. So those are my licensures and certifications. As far as education goes, I attended the University of Wisconsin-Madison from 2001 to 2007 and got my master's and PhD in industrial engineering, which you'll see is really the basis for how I practice now. I practice from safety from the perspective of work, getting work done effectively, safely, and hopefully elicit satisfaction from what you do. As far as my work experience goes, right after my undergrad, I was hired by Minnesota OSHA as a compliance officer. I guess my formal title was industrial hygiene engineer, so I was taught to be an industrial hygienist. I also spent some time with OSHA consultation in Minnesota, focusing primarily on municipalities. That was a lot of fun. And it was in 2001, that's when I went to grad school in Madison, left OSHA. While I was attending grad school, I was working part-time as an assistant safety director with the Department of Health and Family Services. It's now split up, and now I just took this one because it's cool for the screen. After grad school, and I was actually doing some consulting work also during my grad years. After graduate school, and I finished my doctorate, I taught at the University of Minnesota Duluth for 3 years, teaching both engineering and their Masters of Environmental Health and Safety. After that, I came to Whitewater, which is where I'm still here. That was in 2010. Something else that's really interesting is that for the past year and a half, and originally it was supposed to only be like a 2-month or 8-week commitment. So for 18 months, I've been working at April Air as their part-time EHS manager. And I'm going to bring in a lot of experiences and case studies from that. And I'm actually going to be wrapping it up by July 1st. Yes. So while we're in this class, I will be sharing quite a bit of sort of my reflection and other projects I'm working on, and kind of just sharing how to practice safety. I was very successful in the last 16 months or 18 months, whatever it is. I was able to reduce their OSHA recordable rates by 50% and their work comp total paid by about 90%, and I'll cover that. This weird thing on the bottom here, this is something that my senior design class put together last fall, and then in the spring we had engineering students from UW-Platteville actually fabricate it in their lab. And so I may bring in some of this because we're working on this still. We're going to bring it out and do some field testing. So this may actually turn into a patent. I haven't had a patent before, so that would be kind of cool. As far as volunteer experience goes, I am the lead instructor, although I'm trying to back away from that commitment for the youth archery program at Stoughton Conservation Club. We usually train about 100 kids throughout the winter, 10 weeks, on how to shoot archery. This is just an example of some of my students. And then my oldest daughter is graduating from high school. Just last weekend, we had the commencement and her grad party and everything, and she's actually going to be attending Whitewater in the fall, which is pretty exciting. But I've been volunteering for all of the parental things that go with booster clubs and things like that. So it's nice that that's going away, though my youngest daughter is starting high school this next year. So out of the frying pan into the fire, as they say. Other things I do voluntarily, and a majority of my time is volunteered to the American Society of Safety Professionals. And so if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to guide you. The big thing with my volunteering is for the last 3 years, almost 3 years, I've been the regional vice president for the Upper Midwest, overseeing 16 chapters and like 9 student sections or something like that. And that ends on June 30th, just a few more weeks. Then I'll be immediately transitioning to the board of directors for the American Society of Safety Professionals. You can see here, I'll be a director at large. I've been spending quite a bit of time onboarding and preparing for our first board meeting, which is coming up here in another week. And what's interesting is they rely heavily on some, what are your leadership skills? So I had to go through this Clifton Leadership Strengths Assessment. And you can see over here on the left, these are my top 10 strengths from a leader perspective. What's really interesting is my top 3 all fall under the same category. I'm very analytical. I strive to be a learner. What motivates me are ideas or ideation. And what was the other one that was really funny? I guess I'm not seeing it right now, but it's just interesting that my top one. So when I was reading in depth and what it all meant, it was pretty spot on, kind of funny. So anyway, if you're not a student member and you're going into safety, talk to me. I can help you with that. I think we're going to be launching our online student section, or providing online content for a student section. We just started rebuilding our student section here at Whitewater. It really stalled during the pandemic and never picked up. And we've got 2 new faculty who are going to be running it. I wasn't able to operate that and do everything else I've been doing. I'm also very active on LinkedIn. So if any of you are LinkedIn users, please come find me. This last spring in my senior design class, we experimented with expanding our networks, and I was able to increase my followers by, was it like over 100 just by changing some information on my site. And I've always got notifications now, and that's just going to continue to increase. You don't have to be doing this, but if you are the type of person who does, reach out to me, connect with me. It's a good way to keep in contact with me. I'm also preparing to go to Safety 2024. Typically, this international safety conference is held in June, but in order to make up for the missed face-to-face commitments during the pandemic, they're having to go back to certain cities in order to recoup the money that was initially put down. And so we're going to be in Denver, but it's in August. Do I have it up here? Yeah. So August 7th through the 9th. So I'll be there. I believe I'll be there even longer than that. I will be in my new role as the board of directors. I am speaking at it too on telling is not selling. What safety professionals can do from a persuasive, how to be persuasive in getting management to buy into your ideas. Last year, it was in San Antonio. I believe next year, it's in Orlando. So if you have questions about that. Also, this last year has been very busy. Luckily, I've been teaming up with some friends of mine who I'll probably talk about during this course. I spoke at the Wisconsin Safety Conference. I spoke at the Minnesota Safety Conference. I've been speaking at local safety councils. I've been speaking at association meetings, some online, some face-to-face. And so I do a lot of that. I need to go back and start tracking all that for my own professional records. I just do them, and I just move on. Let's see. As far as what is my philosophy, it's a little bit different. I'm not, we do have a textbook, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's not like I teach from the textbook. The textbook is sort of a tool in a much broader toolbox for this course. I build my curriculum and my learning assessments on predicating that you are going to be hired at some point. Now, not all of you are safety students. We've got some general business students, but you can definitely gain from this. I actually think all business students should take at least this course, if not a couple safety courses. It makes you a better manager when you take sort of the wide range of what we do. Why we do what we do. That's the better way to say it. What I what makes me so excited to practice, because I do love to practice. I consider myself a safety practitioner first and a professor second, because I'm constantly doing something on the outside, whether it counts towards work or not. But when I over here on the right, you see this is remodeling. I do a lot of home remodeling. This summer, I'm really excited. I'm going to start studying walls and doing electrical work in my basement. I'm going to finally finish that off. I'm going to build a shed out back, and we're going to begin the planning or the setup for building a 3-season porch. And it's something I've been putting off for years, and it's like I have to get everything organized and designed or drawn several times until I can like see each of the steps, and then I can proceed. So I'm a consummate problem solver, constantly doing things to problem solve, and I consider that was one of my strengths too on the leadership assessment. I also believe that problem solving is heavily correlated to or similar to the learning process. And what do I mean by that? As a student, you may think, well, I'm going to take a class, I'm going to learn some stuff. Okay. Well, rote memorization isn't really learning, is it? It's just sort of organizing a few pieces of data or pieces of information in a certain way so you can recall it when asked. I believe learning, though, is the ability to both appreciate and want to improve the way in which you seek out information to better understand. So it's to be inquisitive. It's to question what you already know. Allow yourself to consider alternate views or dissenting views, and then just gain a better understanding of the world around you in order to solve problems. So in your career, you're going to ask to do different things, and you're going to be introduced to different ways or different techniques. In this class, we're going to cover a bunch of different accident investigation techniques, and then referring to external rules, guidelines, standards to kind of guide us in both understanding what we're seeing and gathering, but also how to resolve those risks that could lead to injury. And some people call those hazards. I tend to use the term risk. And I think the author does too quite a bit. But the idea is that the methods, the way you approach this course, the way you approach all your courses, it can either be, well, I'm going to try to just figure out and do the minimum so that I get a good grade, or you're going to challenge yourself to do the strong study skills and by doing that, you gain a lot more from that course, from that experience. It's just a different way of looking at it. It's really helped the way I practice and the way I teach. So I'm not going to be quizzing you or testing you. I believe that supports the rote memorization approach. I want you to share with me as you're consuming the videos, the literature, the website searches. As you're doing that, to be taking notes, to be thinking about it, to be reflecting, and to be sharing or demonstrating that you can find information or interpret standards and guidelines and things like that. So the course is a little bit different, but it's meant to be more practical. And I think that my non-traditional students, my graduate students, tend to like that better because they're already in that mode, whereas undergrads may still want to, or they're more comfortable with the again, memorization and quiz to demonstrate, but I don't do that. So it's a good practice for everybody. Here are the course objectives. So we will be spending time on the OSHA website and how to find information. I am asked to find information all the time. And if you have questions, you can let me know and I can demonstrate it. And I will be demonstrating it, and you will be demonstrating it too. In order to, and again, the fair and comprehensive accident investigation, that is to not narrow in on a cause or a root cause, but to let the process guide you. To search for, through standards or best practices, to determine what will be the best, most viable, most valuable solution for an employer. And then finally, following up with that. Okay. So the idea is once you've completed this, you should be able to practice with supervision. Down here, a couple things I did last year. One was What's the Hazard podcast. The other is Safety Labs by Slice. So I participated in some interviews. This was summer and fall, I believe. So I'm coming back around. Here's a breakdown. So there is a really short survey. I'll show you at the end. And that's worth 2.5%, excuse me. And then at the end of the course, you'll receive an email from UWW asking you to review the course. Do that and share with me evidence, like a screenshot or the email, and you'll get 2.5%. So 5% of your grade is just the really basic stuff at the beginning and at the end. Each week, you have 3 things that are due by Sunday. First is there's an assignment. So there's a sheet with questions, and it's kind of meant to guide you as you watch the videos, do the readings, search the websites. The reflection is a little bit deeper. You do that last. And the discussion you can just get on and do. You can look at it and pick a particular question or topic you want to invest a little bit of time into, but it's something that I'll see how much you guys share amongst yourselves. Also with the discussion, if you're not comfortable, if you just hate going on and trying to fake it, and you want to meet with me on a weekly basis and we'll discuss it together, I'll give you the points for doing that. But we have to pick a time that works for you. It'd be great if we get several people together at the same time. That just is better use of my time. So there's 2 options there. At the end or halfway through the course, 3rd week, you'll be doing an accident investigation case study. I'll be giving you, I'll give all of you a different sort of accident scenario. And then you're going to have to demonstrate that you know which technique to apply based on what the book says and what we've covered in class. And then you'll perform it, and then you'll render a recommendation for a solution. So it's almost like just a really simple modified. I'm still building it because I'm trying to make it more fun for you. But it would be interesting to be able to provide you with different videos that you could watch. And based on that observation, have that be your visual observation that goes into the assessment. I'll try to do that. And then at the end, final paper is really just a case study, and it's not long. And you'll tell me during the survey and other interactions we have whether you have access to a workplace that you could do a case study or if I need to generate one for you. And that's something we'll need to decide by the end of the 3rd week, so that if I have to grab some videos or other information as I'm leaving Aprilaire, I can do that. Here are the first 3 weeks of the first 3 modules. We start out pretty simple, focusing on OSHA and the first 6 chapters of the book and some other important things that OSHA provides. In modular week 2, we actually get more into the investigation techniques and JHAs, which is job hazard analyses. What are OSHA citations, OSHA record keeping, how to write programs, and then doing PPE and training assessments, which I think is like fundamental to any internship that my students have done. There's always an assessment of programs, the PPE provided, that's personal protective equipment, and the type of training that's done. And I'm going to share a lot of my resources with you. So I'll be creating, again, new intro videos for each module. This one, it counts for week 1. Kind of told you about my background, and the rest is pretty simple. Week 3, I begin with bloodborne pathogens and first aid because years ago, when I rebuilt this course, I was focusing more on pandemic-related things. So I just decided it'd be easier to slip in bloodborne and first aid. And I'm going to share some additional things I learned while I was with Aprilaire, because I had to do a lot with those 2 things, unfortunately. And then we get into kind of the top causes of work comp injuries. And then at the end of end of week 3 is when your accident investigation case study is due. And then we get into some more of the more popular topics. This one is very interesting. It's very machine related, and then more general and health related. And then we get into more of the programmatic stuff. And then we leave time at the end for open discussions. We can have those. You can do presentations if you want. Otherwise, you can just submit the writing. When you do the presentation face-to-face, even though I don't score it as such, you tend to do better, just because I can ask questions to get clarification. I always provide this. Oh man, isn't it great to like sit out at a campfire and have a brewski? For the dropping, for the second 6 week, we start on the 10th, we end on the 20th. I think my grades are due on the 23rd at by noon. Last day to add the class is the 11th. Forget what today is. Last day to drop with a W is the 14th, and then after that it's the 21st. So please stay. I mean, it's just 6 weeks. You'll get through this. It's not a ton of work. This is somewhat what our Canvas page will look like. I've got a copy of the syllabus here. This video I'm recording right now will go here. It'll be a little bit longer than the 2350, I think. The survey is right here. I'll show you that in just a moment when I get done with the PowerPoint. Textbook information, I'm going to show you that too. And then over on the right, it's got the due dates for things. Though I don't see the 15th for the survey, so that's weird. Here's for each week, we'll have a module and then 5 lectures. So the module, I've got the objectives for the module. I've got the link so you can participate in the discussion. I'm going to pause this for a second. And we're back. Youngest daughter needs me to pick her up from school today. It's almost done. All right. Okay. So back to this. So each week you'll be participating in the discussion. I'm going to try to have at least 12 different original questions. You just have to answer one of them. And then I want you to respond to somebody else's. And so essentially, yeah, you'll be looking at 2 different things. One, you will actually answer. The other, you'll be responding to. If you want to do more than that, of course, that gets you the opportunity to make more points. If you don't like that, you can make an appointment each week to meet with me and hopefully others, and we can just discuss it and then give you points that way. So that's the discussion. Just sort of, applying and sharing. Each week there'll be an assignment. I would look at this first, because this will have the highlights to help guide you through lecture videos, readings, and website searches. So check that out. And then you'll submit it here by Sunday. Everything's due by Sunday at midnight. Reflective questions. I would look at that too. So you can kind of see things I want you to be thinking about, relating to, applying to your life. And then that'll be uploaded here. You can use raise your hand. I don't know why I don't get notifications for it. You can just email me if you've got a question. I'll try to keep up on that. For some reason, I'll go back into it and make sure I get notifications when someone posts to raise your hand. And then I've got there'll be, the lectures, the topic, the video, the PowerPoint slides, and then some of the other readings that are associated with the lectures. The lectures are anywhere from some are as low as 12 minutes, some are as high as 29, 30. So each week, there'll be approximately 2 hours of lecture videos and then readings and doing this other work. Now, I did some quick calculations, and under the typical traditional 15-week course like this, you would put in 3 hours of lecture and 3 hours of study. So 6 hours per week times by 15 is about 930 hours for the semester. Is that right? I think so. Which comes to, okay, so 930. If you were to divide that by 6, that means about 15 hours a week. That doesn't seem right. Maybe it's 93 hours total. Maybe I put a 0 there for 0, 3, 9. Why is the 3 there? 0, 3, 9. It should be just 90 hours divided by 6. So you guys will be putting in the equivalency of about 15 hours. Probably not that much. So just make sure that you are putting enough time aside to get through everything and and demonstrating the work as shown here. It is important that you guys are watching these videos, that you're looking at all this stuff. And I do track that stuff, on a weekly basis. Who's spending so much time on the site? How much are they actually checking out or clicking on? So please go ahead and do that. Next. Oh, the textbook. So I've got a copy of it right here. I don't know how well it's showing up. This is such an easy read. And I've gone through and I've put in highlights and notations. And, I was just looking at it again. I went through just 5 chapters accidentally this morning so quickly. And I do agree with a lot of things there. It's basic enough, I think. So go to this website and click on Order Your Textbooks. When you do, enter in this information. So Summer Safety 388, my name. Hit Add Course to List, and it'll say Get My Book. Here's the book right here. It's $1. You save $29. In order to ship it, there is shipping information somewhere on here. Otherwise, if you can pick it up from the bookstore, that's great too. If you're not into that, if you want to buy the book, you can go to Amazon. It looks like it's a little bit expensive, $17, but you could acquire it that way. You could also Google search, and I Google searched it, and you can get it through the ASSP store. So if you're an ASSP member, you might be able to get a discounted version of it. It's $28 here. Probably cheaper if you're a member. Over here was underneath this, and I did see that there's a PDF version under Scribed. Now, I don't know this website, and so it's possible that you could get a free PDF, I think, if you went through. I was paging through it. I didn't try to download it. I was just paging through it, was visible, like preview, and it was the same book. So that's another option for you, okay? You can figure it out. It's a fairly easy book to get. This is just an indication of, like, I had a case study, an ergonomics case study. A brand new piece of equipment here. This guy was reaching down into this box. You see the position of his back? And then he was having to load what they call end caps into these magazines on each side. So he's taller. I think he's like 6'2", and that was hurting his back. And so I don't have a picture of the solution here because I might use this, but I was actually able to eliminate this position and made it easier to do this task to try to prevent the stress and strain on his back. Grilling. I wish it wasn't raining out so much these days. I'd be doing more grilling. But also, if you are going into safety, I can talk about almost any topic intelligently, just because I had a lot of experience and I still continue to do things. Right now, just yesterday, I submitted a proposal to help this multi-state consulting firm grow their safety consulting side. So I've always got something in the hopper, as I'm doing it. So by all means, if I can help you out or things like that, just let me know. Just got to ask. Fortnite. I don't know if you guys are Fortnite players. I am. My youngest just started playing about a month ago. And so that's kind of my guilty pleasure, is getting on and playing Fortnite. I'm really enjoying it. But my tips. So check out the module assignments. The assignment longer, and it should help guide you through everything. The discussion and reflection I would do after. I consumed a majority of it. Some of it requires extra work. Other just sort of a deeper thought on something. Please ask questions. Let me know what I can do to help. I am going to try to make this as applied as possible. And it's going to take me a little bit longer to grade things because I don't use like quizzes that are just A, B, C, D, or E. I want you to think. I want you to share. I want you to demonstrate. That's the most important part. So I hope you have fun. I will be updating some of the videos as we go through, but other ones I looked at them and it's like, it's good enough. It has what it needs. I've got a lot of other stuff I'm working on right now. Both for Whitewater and for my own personal consulting business. But again, just let me know what you'd like me to talk about, and I can do that. And just, of course, I always forget what I was going to share with you. So here's our Canvas page. So we've got lecture 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then module 2, lectures 6, 7, 8, 9. But each time you see module, that is where it's going to have link to discussion, the sheet, which helps you with questions to guide you through things, where you submit it and all that other stuff, okay? And for the survey, it is right here, Complete Me. And if you click on here, it's very short. Enter your last name, first name, share your work experience, what's your comfort level or experience with looking up OSHA stuff, what are your learning objectives. This is actually the old one. I have to go back and change this. Let's see if it updated. Yeah, it is. Okay, learning objectives. When you could meet for WebExes if you want to. Do you have a place where you could do an actual case study? If not, you can do them at like I said here, at Home Depot, Menards, gas station, bar, restaurant. Students usually can find like a real place to do it. And then your email address, if it's different than your UW Whitewater one. Yeah, that's basically everything I wanted to cover, I believe. I look forward to working with all of you. Again, I try to make this fun because I love practicing, but we've gone over 30 minutes. Apologize for that. So reach out to me. Look forward to working with you.